Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurlamilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravajantam Manupeta Apeta Krityam Rapaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tan Maitaya Tadavo Binedus Tam Sarvabhutam Hridayam Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivanarottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Bhaktya Vihina Parada Lakshaya Kiptascha Kamari Tarangamadye Kripamai Tam Sharanam Papanna Vrinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Tavevasmi Najivami Tvayavina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So we're going to begin by offering our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus, unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanitha Bhavishta. Om Vishnu Padasta Tatsat Sri Srimad Abhaya Chanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada, and unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanitha Bhavishta. Om Vishnu Padasta Tatsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Raj. And today is the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesava Goswami Raj, who is the Diksha Guru of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Raj and the godbrother and sannyas guru of our Srila Prabhupada. And so, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Acharya Singha Rupine Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Iti Namane. I offer pranam to the lion-like Acharya Om Vishnu Pad Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ati Martya Charitraya Swashritanam Chapaline Jiva Duke Sadartaya Srinama Premadayane. His character and activities are transcendental to the modes of nature, and he protects and nurtures those who take shelter of him. He is always aggrieved to see the suffering of the living entities, and he bestows love for Sri Nam. Gaura Shraya Vigrahaya Krishna Kamaika Charine Upanuga Pravaraya Vinodeti Sarupine. He is the shelter of love for Gauranga, and his every action is solely to fulfill the desires of Sri Krishna. He is the best among the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, and his internal identity is that of Vinod Manjari. Prabhupada Antarangaya Sarva Sadgunas Shaline Mayavadatamognaya Vedanta Tarta Vade Namaha. He is an intimate associate of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and he is endowed with all auspicious qualities. He eradicates the darkness of Mayavad and reveals the true meaning of Vedanta. I offer pranam to him and to all of our Guru Varga and some of Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. So on the appearance day of a great personality like that, we are enjoined to glorify them, examine their life, their mission, their teachings, right? Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj, was very attentive to teaching us how to glorify our gurus appropriately. Our general tendency was just to tell stories, right? Nice stories. One time one godbrother was telling a story, and he was saying, yes, and he liked kachoris very much. And Gurudev said, I don't want to hear about kachoris. I want to hear what were his teachings, what was his mission. Not that these stories aren't relishable, and even not that they're always inappropriate, but on this particular day, with limited time, it's very important to understand that Manubhishta. One of the major prayers to Rupa Goswami is what? Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam. I offer my most respectful obeisance unto Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who was blessed by the mercy of Mahaprabhu because he understood and revealed the internal, the Manubhishta of Mahaprabhu. What was Mahaprabhu's mission? What were the secret or confidential elements of his teaching? Right? He was most qualified to bring that out to the world. So on this day, we want to understand and bring out the specialities. Our acharyas in the Rupanuga line, they share a great deal in common, obviously, in terms of what they teach, but they also have specialities because of the time and place and the role in which they are assigned or chosen for. In that beautiful song, Vaishnava Vandana, by Devaki Nandana that we sing in the morning, it says something very significant about the Vaishnavas. I mean, it's very dangerous to try to categorize or, assign hierarchies to the Vaishnavas. Conditioned souls generally try to do that based on what they see are the accomplishments, talents, potencies, whatever. But in this beautiful prayer, Brahmanda, oh man, I can't even see in here, so dim. Brahmande tarite shakti dhare jane jane, eveda purane guna gaya jeba shune. Each of his devotees, Mahaprabhu's devotees, possesses the power to deliver the entire universe. The Vedas and Puranas glorify this divine quality of the Vaishnava to all willing to listen. They all have that potency. Srila Prabhupada one time said about Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he could have delivered the entire universe. He's Vaishnava, but he left some remnant for us. Mahaprabhu has a grand plan. It's all Leela, his pastime, the awakening and deliverance of the people of this realm in this Kali Yuga. It will be written about in the next Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like we hear Krishna's Leela and the Leela of the previous avatars, this is the first time in this day of Brahma that Mahaprabhu appeared, that Krishna appeared. And so at the time of the writing of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahaprabhu had not shown his Leela. At the next time, it will be included. Right? And many things that we don't know that were not included in the current biographies will be in that. Apparently, that's what they say. So many more details. So, Mahaprabhu Gana Sabha Patita Pavan Tahilobe Mui Papi Loinu Sharan. All the associates of Mahaprabhu are saviors of the fallen, so I, a sinner, fervently take shelter of them. This is our mind set, our heart set now, especially meditating on this person. Vandana korite mui kato shakti dori tamo buddhi doshe mui damba matra kori. What power do I have to glorify them? Afflicted by ignorance, I only exhibit conceit. Right? Right. What do we know? We restrict them by our own ignorance. We see them and attribute to them the same qualities, the same motives, the same limits that we are bound by. Nevertheless, tatapi mukhera bhagya manera ulas dosha shami moadame koro nijadas. Yet even one who is dumb, such as me, is greatly fortunate and joyful at heart to have an opportunity to glorify them. O Vaishnavas, forgive the faults of this fallen soul and make me your own servant. Right? So, how do we glorify? Well, we didn't know Bhakti Kesava Raj, but we know people that knew him. One time, Srila BV Narayana Maharaja was in a discussion with his guru's own godbrothers, senior disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and they were discussing different things. And then Gurudev began to say some things, and they questioned, who are you to speak about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada? You never saw him, right? You never heard from him directly. And he said, I didn't need to see him with my eyes. I have seen him through the words of my Guru Maharaj, who knew him deeply and intimately. That is a better kind of vision. And I think he said, so I know better than you. Good, it's very bold. Anyway, they took some umbrage at that and went to Bhakti Kesava Maharaj and said, you know what he said? And then Bhakti Kesava Maharaj said, no, what he said is correct. So on this day, I thought, there are writings of Bhakti Kesava Maharaj we could analyze. There are so many different things we could do, but I like to read Gurudev's own words, right? What did he say about Bhakti Kesava Maharaj? There are many, many lectures he gave, but this one is from 2001 in Singapore, and I was just astonished. It's very long, and it's very comprehensive. It's not just pastimes. It's a great deal of philosophy. And one of the things that Srila BV Narayana Maharaja was very concerned about was not just to reveal the history and pastimes of his Guru Maharaj, but specifically his philosophical teachings. And so they compiled, he and his godbrother Srila BV Narayana compiled this biography of Bhakti Kesava Maharaj, which details his life history, his birth, and all of that. Very wonderful to read. His early days, and it says in it that, the early days of a personality and their activities, they foreshadow their future, their qualities, etc. So there's a great deal to be learned in that. His transcendental qualities were manifesting even at that young age. And Gurudev would tell some stories, but this one is very interesting. In that book, by the way, if you want to understand Gaudiya philosophy, everything is in that book. There's many, many wonderful pastimes, but there's also many, many deep philosophical statements and explanations. But this is a very different kind of lecture, so I'm going to read from this. 2001 in February 11th, in Singapore. And so Gurudev begins. He says, today is the very sacred anniversary of the birth of my spiritual master, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. He appeared in this world on this day, make this a little bigger, to fulfill the needs of his dearmost Sri Sri Radha Krishna, Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Gaura Gadadhar. He came to help all the conditioned souls to come out of this jail. We are in jail, all of us. He came to save us from the jail of this world. Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. Even bigger still. There we go. Now we can read. Our Gurudev is the manifestation of Jagat Guru Srila Vyasadeva. Remember yesterday Mahaprabhu inaugurated the Vyasa Puja, instructed Nityananda Prabhu to perform it, right? It may also be said that he is a manifestation of Akhanda guru-tattva Baladev Prabhu or Nityananda Prabhu. Right? Since Vyasadeva is Lord Narayan himself, we can surely say that Sri Gurudev is a manifestation of Vyasadeva. Sri Guru sits on the Vyas Asan. The Vyas, the seat, the Vyas seat, the seat on which Vyasadeva used to sit. In other words, he sits on the seat from which Vyasadeva preached the glory of Radha and Krishna all over the world. So when you sit on the Vyasasana, the seat of the guru, there's great import in that, and great responsibility, and great danger. Great danger. Very easy to become carried away because so much importance and respect is given to that. Right? So today we will glorify him. We will also glorify guru-tattva and explain how guru-tattva descends from Goloka Vrindavan. Don't think that this bhakti philosophy is useless. Otherwise you will be very weak and give up the bhakti line. I am hearing about this problem daily. This is 2001. He'd been preaching now in the West for 4.5, 5 years, right? And already, many that had come to him very enthusiastic, very joyful, and accepting the celebratory environment and atmosphere that surrounded Gurudev and his kindness that he was bestowing to everyone, but they weren't seriously pursuing the philosophical understanding, the foundation of bhakti. And so, you'd be weak. I'm hearing about this problem daily. So many disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj and other bona fide gurus are giving up bhakti and becoming weak. They are leaving Krishna consciousness and accepting worldly family life. Why? Because they don't know this philosophy. Right, so he was also noticing this throughout the world. All the disciples of, not all the disciples, but many of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada and the disciples of his disciples. And that was one of the 4 reasons that Srila Narayana Maharaj came to the West, to infuse these sincere but weak followers, like me, with strength, with the power of bhakti once again. He said, you should know all these truths. If you do not know them now, one day you will have to know them. It may be after thousands of lives, but one day you will have to know all the philosophical conclusive truths. Don't think it useless to know them. If you don't want to fall down, then learn all of them very, very deeply. My Guru Maharaj rendered so many direct services to Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, like massaging him and so on. And he was always with him for as long as he was present in this world. His glory is like an ocean. You have heard so many Prabhus glorify him, but we can never complete his glorification. You should know that the backbone of Krishna Bhakti is Guru Nishta, unalloyed faith in Sri Guru. If one has no Guru Nishta, he has no bhakti at all. In Indian Vedic culture, it is tradition that one should accept a transcendental guru. Transcendental guru, not a fashionable guru, not necessarily a popular, charismatic guru only, but one who has the qualities of transcendence and who is following a similar transcendental guru, one who is in line. If he or she has not accepted guru, no one will take any for food prepared by him. No one will even drink the water which has been offered by him, not even his father or mother. Do you understand what I am telling? If a son or daughter is married, if he or she has not accepted a guru, then his or her cooking or offering will not be accepted by a Vedic family. Gurudev is really laying down Vedic culture here to the Western mind, completely unacquainted and casual about life and practice of a Vaishnava. First, one will have to accept a high class of guru, then he or she can cook and perform all related services. Right? So sometimes people want to cook here, but if they're not practicing and they're not connected with Sri Guru, we don't let them. We've turned some people away, and many people bring things and cook things, except on rare occasions, like, Govardhan puja or something like that, uh, I would not take. I mean, it's sincere, we encourage, it's wonderful when people do that, but in Indian Vedic culture and tradition from ancient times up to now, it was essential to accept a bona fide guru. Nowadays, the Western breeze is also coming towards India, and thus India is rejecting Vedic principles. We are especially rejecting Guru. Instead, we think, what is Gurudev? Gurudev is nothing. There is no need of Gurudev. Right. And the thing is, if there's an unqualified guru, then one may lose faith and have these sentiments. That's why it's very important to align with a qualified guru, right? And Jaiva Dharma has a lot of description of this. There are other sources as well. Gurudev is stressing here, he's speaking about his guru, but right now he's speaking about guru as a principle. Guru is a person and a principle, a tattva as well. And without understanding both, you can't develop necessary faith and proper behavior. A lot of people have a sentimental, I remember when Gurudev was here, and Prabhupada, sentimental attraction to the person, but when some difficulty comes, or if they're not pleased with the way that person is treating them or not treating them, they may leave or reject, right? No, you have to understand the principle of Guru and its importance. And when you make your decision, it's based on very strong faith reinforced by scriptural knowledge, and understanding by that knowledge what is Guru, what are their behavior, what are their practices, what are their teachings, all of this, right? What is their connection with Guru Parampara? Minute by minute, people are changing their wives and husbands. They divorce many times in one life, and therefore no one is happy. That's Western culture now. If you want to be happy, you should accept a qualified guru and Guru Parampara. If you do not do so, you will have to experience the miseries of old age and death. When you die, whatever you have collected in your life cannot be taken with you. Always remember that death is sure. No one can save you from death. What then will become of these palatial buildings and the many other things you have collected? Try to understand this. By Guru Bhakti, our lives will be changed and we'll be happy forever. He was in Singapore. Singapore is a very wealthy city, like a city-state, right? Very modern, very opulent. He's reminding them. Now he's going to go on. This is very useful to know. What is Vyas? What does that mean? Vyas, we call him Vyasadeva. The line that touches the opposite sides of the circumference of a circle is going through the central point, and this is called the diameter, or Vyas. What is the meaning? Krishna is the center of all. Not only this one world, but so many millions upon billions of universes are all in this circle. Srila Vyasadeva is touching Krishna, and then he is going to all the innumerable ends of the material existence, right? Because that central point, it's not just one line, it's just unlimited lines. In other words, going out and touching all of the circumference of that. So in this case, that circumference represents the entire material creation and everything within it, right? What starts out as Pradhan and becomes Mahatattva, the entire material realm. Vyas, we may think of Vyas in terms of our one universe, our one planet, or something, but no, real Guru has that capacity and that power, right? Those teachings, that realization, that power, it's all pervading, because Krishna is all pervading. He is the source of everything. So, Srila Vyasadeva is touching Krishna. And then he is going to all the innumerable ends of material existence. Who is Vyas? He who is preaching the glories of Krishna to all, teaching everyone. Quote, you should serve Lord Krishna. No one but he can save you from this endless chain of birth and suffering. Vyas is he who is always serving Krishna from one point to another, everywhere in this material world. Everywhere, in all the universes. So remember, Krishna's appearing in sequence in all the different universes in this overall material creation. Vyas is also who we know as Vyas. It's a post also. Different people will take up that post. But as Krishna is appearing sequentially, so is Vyas. And Vyas also, he is, even now, he's on this planet. He lives in the Himalayas in Badarik Ashram. You'd have to be qualified to be able to see him. Madhvacharya visited him. Any rate, Vyas took birth in between Mathura and Vrindavan on an island in the Jamuna. Parashara Muni was his father, and his mother was Srimati Matsyodari. That's Satyavati. That story's in the Mahabharata. The first year I went to Parikram in Vrindavan under the guidance of Srila Narayana Maharaj, he was going over to Mathura to check up on the progress of the construction of a temple at the place of Durvas Muni, Durvas Tila. It's on the other side of the Jamuna from Vishram Ghat. Vishram Ghat's here, and then there's a bridge that goes to the other side. It's the other side up on a hill. And so he went there, and he was sitting on a table, and he called me to come over. And this is, I just met him a few months ago, but he was very caring and giving, and he wanted to make some connection. And so he had me sit down next to him. I was astonished, I could never imagine. And then he starts pointing across the Jamuna, and he said, oh, right there is where the island where Vedavyas was born. He was right there. I said, oh, really? Parashara Muni. And then a little farther is the place where Ambarish Maharaj was. He was explaining all these things. So it's historical, it's real, right? So Parashara Muni was going somewhere and wanted to cross the Jamuna. He called the boatman, but that boatman was very tired, and he sent his adopted daughter in his stead, in his place. Because his daughter had been born from the womb of a fish, a fishy odor emanated from her, but at the same time she was very beautiful. She was actually an extraordinarily qualified demigoddess that had received a kind of curse to take this kind of birth, but actually it was also to create pastimes because she became the mother of Maharaj Pandu, Dhritarashtra, and Vidura, right? She became their mother, their grandmother. She married this great king, Maharaj Shantanu, who was also the father of Bhishma Dev. And then Bhishma Dev renounced his claim to the throne because the father of this, is he going to tell this story? I'm going to wait. I'm not going to, sometimes I get ahead of it. Let me see. I don't want to jump ahead. Let Gurudev tell what he's going to tell, and then we may fill in. Okay. So, ordered by her father, Matsodari, Satyavati, took the boat and told Parashara, you can come, I will take you across. When she reached the island in the middle of the Jamuna, Parashara looked upon her. At once she became pregnant, and in a moment she gave birth to a very tall, beautiful, blackish youth, of 16 years. Who was he? Vyas. He had come by the mercy of Krishna through Parashara, but he was actually Narayan. He immediately renounced the world. Right, he immediately left, but he told his mother, if you ever need me, just think of me. So after she had married Maharaj Shantanu, her sons from him died prematurely, so they couldn't have any heirs. So then she called her other son, Vyas, and he came and impregnated those wives. One of them, though, put her own maidservant in her place. She was too frightened of Vyasadeva. And that was the maidservant was the mother of Vidura. The other two young princesses were the mothers of Pandu and Dhritarashtra. The mother of Dhritarashtra was so afraid seeing Vyas, she just closed her eyes and wouldn't look at him. And she didn't want to see, so her child was born blind. And the other one was so frightened she turned white. And so her son was born with a whitish complexion, Pandu. Any case, a very interesting history. After some time, Vyas divided the Vedas in 4. Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur Veda, and Atharva Veda. After that, he wrote the essence of all the Vedas, and that was called Brahma Sutra, Sariraka Sutra, or Vedanta Sutra. After he wrote 36 Puranas, Upapuranas, and Sakapuranas, then for all people, for ladies, Shudras, and all those who always lament and who are entangled in worldly intoxications, he wrote the Mahabharata. Mahabharata, maybe the greatest story ever told, right? It's so extensive, it's so attractive because it has all the elements of, the greatest stories. Love, romance, intrigue, betrayal, fighting, everything is there, right? In that Mahabharata, he gave the jewel-like Gita-Upadesh, in other words, Bhagavad Gita. Prior to this, he gave the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, which Sri Narad had taken from Lord Brahma. There was yet no Srimad Bhagavatam, however, so he was not satisfied with his life. Sri Narad came to him and asked, "Why are you so upset?" Srila Vyasadeva replied, "Gurudev, I do not know." Narad then told him, this is 5th chapter of 1st canto, 5th, 6th chapter, this conversation and instruction between Narad and Vedavyas. You have not glorified Lord Sri Krishna and his pastimes of Vrindavan, and you have not discussed how the gopis and all the Brajbasis serve him. You should glorify him, his many devotees, his beloved gopis, and especially his beloved Radhika. Vyasadeva then saw all the pastimes of Lord Krishna and his associates in his trance, and thus he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam and became happy. The essence, therefore, of all Vedic literature, Upanishads, Puranas, and Bhagavatam, is Braja Prem, and moreover, Gopi Prem, and especially the love and affection of Srimati Radhika, who controls Krishna and always keeps him in her heart. Right. It's not that these pastimes had not been described in other Puranas, because there are some extraordinary descriptions, Padma Purana and others, and Radhika's name is even directly mentioned, other gopis and all. But what Narad told him was that in these other scriptures, you've also mixed up some touch of karma kanda, fruit of activity, and people in general are always inclined towards material welfare and benefit. And so if there's any mixture of that in the scripture that you're presenting, they'll go in that direction, towards gyan and karma. So you have to write something spotless. So, dharmak projita kaita votra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Completely free from any mixture of cheating activity, Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpataror galitam palam shukamukad amrita drava samyatam. Pibata Bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvibhavukaha. Right, the topmost fruit of the tree of the Vedic literature, fully ripened. And because it had been tasted by the most excellent parrot, Shukadev, and spoken, it's all the more relishable. Right? So this was his instruction. So he saw the pastimes in his trance by the mercy of Narad. Right? So, and then he wrote them down. A guru can give these mysterious truths. Otherwise, it is not possible to understand them. Oh, why did he speak it to Shukadev then? I mean, it was presented perfectly. Because even though he saw the pastimes, Vedavyas could not have the full realization of the mood of the gopis and transmit it. Because he's Lord Narayan. He's the other side of it. He's not the devotee, he's the object of devotion. Right? And so he saw them perfectly, and of course he relished it, but he didn't have the full realization, so he spoke it to Shukadev, who had been left by Radha and Krishna specifically to hear these pastimes and to reveal them from the perspective of an intimate associate of Srimati Radhika. And so when Vedavyas and Narad came to the place where Shukadev was reciting to Parikshit Maharaj, it's described by Jiva Goswami that they felt that they were actually hearing it for the first time. There were revelations and moods that they had never understood yet or tasted. Because Narad also, he's a devotee of Lord Sankarshan, the Narayan in the Vaikuntha realm. So, they knew all these things, but they had not heard them from that quality of person. Lord Brahma also had not heard from that. He'd heard directly from the Lord, but this is so confidential, right? So Shukadev was the first to reveal it in that way. A guru can give these mysterious truths, otherwise it is not possible to understand them. He gives all this to his disciple so that he can become happy. Guru wants to make us happy. Ravan had so much opulence and millions of servants who lived in palaces made of gold and jewels. All kinds of opulences were present in Lanka. No poor people there. Ravan had 10 heads, 20 eyes, and 20 ears, and he conquered the whole world. But he was not happy, because he could not control his heart and mind. He could not control his lust. Therefore, the greatest and strongest person is he who can control his 6 urges. Vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udapasta vegam, etan veganyo vishaheta dira, sarvam api mam pritivim sashashat. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Why is he telling us all this? He's telling us also what the quality of guru is, but also what is the quality of the disciple. It's said that it's very rare to find a Mahabhagavat guru. Right? They're rare. Madhyam guru is there, right? But Mahabhagavat, very, very rare. But even more rare is to find a fully qualified disciple. How many disciples did Srila Prabhupada have? Right? And among them, how many could be said to be really fully qualified? Fully qualified. Maybe 2, 3, maybe. There are many others who are secretly quite advanced, but topmost, very, very rare. If one cannot control his anger, his words, his tongue, and his mind, he cannot do anything to help himself. You know the ex-president of America, Bill Clinton, he was so famous, and he was a very strong personality, but he could not check his heart, and he became entangled with an office girl. Such persons cannot do anything productive. Therefore, if you want to be happy in this world, try to follow Vyasadeva. Try to follow a real guru. Previous to writing Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva made 4 disciples, Paila, Sumanta, Jayamini, and Vaishampayana. And he trained each of them in one of the 4 Vedas. Especially in South India, the Vedas, Upanishads, and Sanskrit Shastras are followed. Nowadays, however, especially those outside of India, have gradually left their traditions. Something is in their blood. They believe in God, but they have given up all religious principles. They take meat, eggs, wine, and so on. They cannot control the 6 urges. Understanding the future, Vyasa gave 1 Veda to each of these 4 disciples, and he gave the Mahabharata and Puranas to Ugra Shrava Sutta, who also known as Ramaharshan, and he was the father of the one we know as Sutta Goswami. He was killed by Lord Baladev for an offense, and Sutta Goswami was promoted, even though he was only like a 5-year-old boy. Lord Balaram empowered him completely, and he's the one who also heard from Shukadev. He was sitting right next to them during that time, and then he related it to the sages at Naimisharanya. So, Vyasa served his Gurudev Sri Narad. He followed his Guru's teachings, and he preached the glory of Sri Sri Radha Krishna everywhere. He taught the supremacy of Krishna and Radha's love and affection throughout the world. This is Vyasa. A disciple, okay, it's us, we're trying to be, is he who can serve his Gurudev as more than his own life and soul. A disciple is not one who is simply satisfied with the thought, oh, Gurudev, give me a name, but he does not chant. He does not realize anything, and especially he is not following the principles of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The principles of Mahaprabhu are the essence of all the Vedas. And he's going to quote one of those principles. Can you imagine what it is? Trinadapi sunichena torodapi sahishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. That's a tough one, offering respect to others. Sometimes we can tolerate, right? But offering respect to those that are aggravating us, ooh, that's a tough one, you know? All right, I'm going to tolerate this. That's fool. I don't like this person, but I'm going to tolerate because I'm a humble devotee. No. How do you offer respect, though, to someone? You have to see that the Lord is in their heart. So you're offering respect to the Lord in the heart, and also this person has done some seva, right? So compared to everybody in the world, this person has some special quality. Let me offer obeisance to that, and even if I have to from a distance, they're on the way, they're on the path. If you want to be a real disciple, you must be tolerant. If you do not have this tolerance, then when a mosquito comes, you will make a hydrogen bomb to kill it. You will think, how shall I save myself from this? The whole day and night you will be thinking about this, and Krishna Bhajan will disappear. Right, all the little things that upset you. I was saving that for me, my prasad. They took my prasad. And you think about it all day and night, right? Whatever it might be. There's so many little things endless things that disturb us, right? To protect and maintain our life is essential. But why is it essential? Not for living like dogs, hogs, or pigs. If anyone is spending his whole time maintaining himself, his life is like a dog and other animals. And actually, animals can do more than you. You are very worried about one child, but dogs can have 15 or 16, 2 times in a year. They can have so many children. And there are many other animals that can still have more than this. Yeah, like fish, right? boa constrictors, crocodiles. They have so many kids. So don't think you are more advanced than animals in this way, or that you are so intelligent. They are more intelligent than you. If you actually want to be intelligent, then always remember your death and your old age. Always remember that you cannot take anything with you at death, and if you are not doing bhajan, you will be crushed by Maya, thoroughly crushed. At that time, you will lament, why could I not do bhajan? I failed. Well, this is a really long lecture. We've only done half. Well, this is very interesting. I thought there's going to be stories of Bhakti. I think we're going to have to spend a few days on Bhakti Kesava Maharaj because it's a very important part of our line, very important part. And this conception of Guru, this is what Mahaprabhu came to teach. Mahaprabhu is the Adi Guru. Nityananda is his, chief ambassador, Guru. Akhanda guru-tattva, representing all other gurus. And so, very important to understand all this. We'll continue this tomorrow then. All right, so offering obeisance to our gurus, the principle of Guru, right? Universal Guru, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Narayana Goswami Maharaj, our exalted Guru Varga, and today Bhakti Kesava Maharaj, begging especially his mercy, very kind, very merciful personality, and all the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.